for UCC. The Aam Aadmi Party is supporting UCC. AAP's National General Secretary is saying, and I'm quoting, "We support the Uniform Civil Code in principle because even Article 44, I beg your pardon, also talks about it, but people of all religion and parties should be consulted and suggested for its implementation." Now, this becomes extremely interesting as the opposition has been up in arms questioning the need and the timing for UCC, saying that India is a country of multiple religions and faith. Why should you have UCC? Here, the Aam Aadmi Party is saying that we in fact support the UCC in principle because even Article 44 also talks about it. Where does this leave opposition unity? Because over the last couple of days, we've been seeing the opposition up in arms. As I pointed out, they've slammed the implementation and the bringing of the UCC because they've hit out at the central government and said that this is not UCC, this is just a Hindu civil code, this is against the fabric of what India essentially represents. Here a reaction coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party, who've in fact gone on to say that we support it in principle because you also have Article 44 which talks about it. People of all religion parties should be consulted and then suggested for its implementation. Payal Mehta now joining us on the broadcast. Payal, this reaction by the Aam Aadmi Party becomes interesting because over the last couple of days, we've seen very extreme reactions coming in from the opposition, questioning the need for UCC, saying that it is essentially against the fabric of what India represents because we have multi-faith and multi-religion. How should we see the reaction of the Aam Aadmi Party?
Well, as far as the stand of the Aam Aadmi Party in principle supporting the Uniform Civil Code, it's a huge thing in the step as far as the government is concerned because, obviously it's a dent towards the opposition. Now, remember, many parties in the opposition have questioned the intent of the government and said that the UCC was brought in with targeting a particular community or supporting a particular community in particular as concerned. But yes, the Aam Aadmi Party over here has stated the principle of law. They stated that, as far as the Article 44, this is something which is guaranteed by the Constitution of India, and that's one of the reasons they're taking this particular stand. So, it seems that many will look at it in the prism saying that, there's already fissures within the opposition parties. As far as the stand was concerned, we've already seen the Aam Aadmi Party being at loggerheads with the Congress Party and the others on several issues, including demanding for support on the ordinance bill that the government plans to really bring in. So obviously this is in a way, even though the Aam Aadmi Party is saying that in principle is supported and they're calling it supporting the principle of law, it will be seen otherwise in the political circle.
And Payal, it is coming at a time when, as I said, when the opposition parties are trying to come together to try and take on the BJP for 2024. This is going to be a big question as far as opposition unity is concerned, because if there is no consensus on issues like the UCC, then how is the opposition going to come together?
Yes, of course, it's a very important point that you are really raising. While all the opposition parties were tom-tomming and saying that this has been a big meeting, it's been a positive meeting, and all of them are on the same page. But the details that came in after the meeting, the way in which Arvind Kejriwal and the
Payal, we seem to be losing your connection, and apologize for interrupting. Just stay on with us. We in fact have from the BJP, RP Singh also now joining us on the broadcast. Good to have you with us here on CNN News 18. How do you see the Aam Aadmi Party now coming out and saying that we actually support the UCC in principle because even Article 44 talks about it?
Well, every sensible person should support, and every Indian should support UCC, because anyone who's concerned about their daughters, their sisters, their mothers, they should be supporting UCC. And we are hopeful that the other parties will also come on board and understand that this is nothing against any religion. This is basically a common civil law, as is a common criminal law for all countrymen. So there will be a common civil law for all countrymen, especially with the issues marriage, divorce, inheritance, adoption. So these are the key issues and concern areas where you need common civil law, and anyone who supports is good for him and for the country.
Mr. Singh, but how do you see the Aam Aadmi Party's reaction? It is in sharp contrast to the other reactions that have been coming in from the opposition parties, who are essentially saying that this is in contrast to the fabric of what India is. India as a country has different religions, different faith. The UCC is going to be in contrast with that.
Well, you see, as I said, UCC is not against any religion as such. UCC is not in contravention to any personal practices of religion. It's basically for laws related to inheritance, adoption, marriage, and then divorce, and other laws which are concerned to these civic issues. It has nothing to do with the personal religious practices. But anyhow, there are parties who want to create issue out of this. They want to make issue out of this, and then they want to make a political issue out of this. They can do it. But fact is, UCC should be, and this was is there in the Article 44, where then people who have laid the basic principle of the Constitution for us, they also wanted the country should have a common civil code, and the country already has a common criminal code.
Yeah. So we'll just request you to stay on with us because we just want to play out that reaction that is coming from the Aam Aadmi Party, where they've gone on to say that we support the UCC in principle. Let's just listen into that and we'll continue the conversation.
देखिए, सैद्धांतिक रूप से हम इसके समर्थन में हैं। आर्टिकल 44 भी इसका समर्थन करती है कि देश में यूसीसी होनी चाहिए, लेकिन चूंकि यह मुद्दा ऐसा है जिसमें कि सभी धर्म संप्रदाय से जुड़ा हुआ है, इसलिए हम ये चाहते हैं कि इस मुद्दे के लिए वाइडर कंसल्टेशन हो, लार्ज स्केल पर बातचीत हो सभी धर्म से, सभी संप्रदाय से, सभी राजनीतिक दलों से।
So that's the reaction that's coming in of the Aam Aadmi Party saying we support UCC in principle. RP Singh of the BJP continues to be with us. Sir, would you agree that there is a sense of fear-mongering that is being spread just as far as politics is concerned?
It's similarly to what was done with CAA, where CAA has nothing to do with Indian Muslims. Again, I mean, they want to do it only because of political objectives and because of garnering certain vote of certain section. The opposition or the political parties and individuals keep doing it. The fact is for all women, all people of the country for common rights, for equal rights. Tell me, how if my son gets married to a Muslim woman, will she have a separate right and my daughter will have a separate right? No, they both of them should enjoy the similar right. Why shall be there separate laws for both of them?
Mr. Singh, lastly, I also want to understand the other charge that is coming in from the opposition is that this is another polarization bid as far as the BJP is concerned, and you're doing this keeping in mind as far as 2024 elections are concerned.
Well, they are trying to polarize it other way around because when you're talking about rights of the women, or when we did away with the triple talaq, even then they said that it's about polarization. Today, when we are talking about that all women, whether it's a Muslim or Sikh or Hindu or Jain, they should get equal rights. What is polarization in that? Well, I said only because they want to garner certain vote bank and then they want to garner vote bank in that community also, or the certain section in that community, not the community at large. Because community at large understand this, that this is good for them.
Okay, Mr. Singh, we'll have to leave that conversation there. Thanks a lot for speaking to us here at CNN News 18.